Okay.
You guys can see? Ladies and gentlemen and fellow Toastmasters, no guests. Welcome to the Pakistan Association Dubai Toastmasters Club meeting number 103. Pakistan Association Dubai is a Toastmaster, which is we are in Division I, Area 32 and District 105. So we don't talk about the ground rules are that we don't talk about the three taboo topics of religion, sex, and politics. The safety is, none of us seems like driving, but if you are driving, then your safety is paramount. Please give the respect and courtesy by paying attention to our speakers, silent your mobile phones, and avoid making noises, and mute yourself during online meetings. There it is. Oops, what have I done? This is our team at your service. The club mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And with this, I'll hand over the stage to our president, Madam Toastmaster Wafa Khan, for her opening address and the start of the meeting.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum everyone, or basically it's more like Assalamu alaikum or XCOM. I hope hum sab theek thaak honge. Acha, I'd like to start with a little bit of a celebration because mashallah our club speaker has gone to DTAC. So well done. I appreciate the effort he's put in himself. We are not only here for our personal growth. हम जब बढ़ते हैं तो हमारे साथ साथ हमारी जो इर्द गिर्द के लोग हैं वो भी एक उनकी भी मेराज होती है. So as Isa has gone there, it elevates our level as well. It gives us the strength that yes, we are capable of going. So well done, Isa, and we are looking forward to see you on the stage of DTAC. And you know what? You've put an amazing work on that, despite the challenges that you had. And you know, you fell ill and all that stuff, but you were consistent. So well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I appreciate, and well done on the team as well कि हम लगे रहे, हमारे भी challenges थे, so good job on that. I think ये बहुत बड़ा take away है हम सबके लिए कि we have been able to learn and grow, even if it's a minimum. Thanks to Dr. Amra, thanks to Maruf, that he has been there as well. Acha, so today's meeting is about something that we had to do earlier. And Maruf Saab had promised us that he would do an interesting topic. So we're going to go on. And you know how he is, a committed person. This is how I see him. जब वो बोलते हैं तो वो पूरी कोशिश करते हैं कि वो करें. A man with amazing skills. I mean, you know, like people come with their own skills and he's a resourceful person. He came and he had this brilliant idea about putting our meetings to live. He had the amazing idea how to market, how to interact with people. And he has been doing it, missing very few meetings of ours just because of certain commitments, but he has mostly been there. And I really appreciate that about him. Thank you so much, Maruf Saab. You are the Toastmaster of the day. What have you brought in today? Please explain.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Wafa. Thank you so much, Madam President. for wonderful introduction. Yeah, I always try to bring our club up, and yeah, we have been struggling, but we have come, yeah, we have had a really good journey this year, and we are almost at the end of the year. So what I wanted to bring in today's meeting is my own experience, my profession. So from time to time, I get these invitations to go to conferences and then events and then talk to some market research people to share my thoughts, my experience. But from employer perspective, from compliance perspective, I'm not supposed to talk about some of the things that we do in our job, because we are supposed not to share any business insights or anything. But this is a skill that I have learned throughout my career, working with some of the Fortune 500 companies, working with some of the 100 years old companies, corporates where I have learned how to negotiate in certain situations and certain markets. So what I will do is I will try to generalize it and bring you negotiation skills which can help everyone. So can we go ahead?
Okay, so just a question here. There's no word for the day? Because I had prepared one. I don't know, was it important or not, but I just, as I
Yes,
mentioned.
I mean, I also have one, so so we have two words of the day.
Oh,
why not then?
so because you were the sergeant, let me just, if you get,
Yeah.
if it's okay,
Sure.
I'll have the share of, having a topic, if that's okay with you, before
Sure.
we dive into the negotiation part of our discussion, and hand over the thing to the screen to our TMOD and the main presenter, if that is okay, if that's okay.
What do you think? Yeah, are you okay, Dr. Amra?
Yes, by all means, please.
Wonderful. Go on, Toastmaster Isa.
So I shared, I WhatsApped you the presentation, the word of the day. If you can just share it on screen, maybe I can then, because I have it on my laptop here, and I shared it. I want that to be shared on the screen.
Yes,
I'm not
just
using
doing
my.
that for you. Just doing that for
Yeah.
you now.
Let me just open it as well on my.
I think I've got that. Yeah.
Okay. So let's start with our word of the day. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present before you the word of the day. It really excites me. I love having, working on vocabularies and adding words to my own arsenal of vocabularies and share it with others. So my today's suggestion, or the word of the day, chosen word of the day, is propensity. Okay, which means a natural inclination. Okay, and another meaning is natural tendency to behave in a particular way. Right. So that's the that's a brief meaning of the word. But if we look into it a bit in detail, it says that if you have a propensity for something, then it's something that comes naturally to you, or something you just do a lot. Some people have propensity to laugh. Other people have propensity for making others laugh, or for being generous, or for getting angry. It's hard to change your propensity. Sometimes a propensity is a bad thing, okay? As in a criminal with a propensity for theft or murder. Okay, this is taken from vocabulary.com, a clip that I'm reading from there when I was researching the word. Okay, so that's the background of the word. Okay, so synonyms: inclination, as I mentioned in the meeting; predisposition, leaning toward something, and having proneness on something or toward something again. Antonyms are disinclination, right? The opposite. Okay. Inadequacies, incompetencies, and impotence. Right. So these are the, the meanings. Okay, so I prepared few sentences with the word propensity. The first one goes like this: natural tendency to behave in a particular way. Okay, sorry, that's not the. I mean, that was the meaning. So here's, he is well known for his natural propensity for indiscretion. Okay, low fares are increasing people's propensity to commute in metros. She has a propensity to take painkillers at the slightest signs of a headache. So these are some of the sentences I put together, and I can have this next slide, please. So let's, it's your turn to try if you have any suggestions, any sentences that you would like to make and share. Anyone?
Yeah, I'll do that. Dogs have a propensity to bark.
Yes, definitely they do. Great. Who else?
Being a mother of boys, I understand that boys have a propensity to risk and try things, and it's one of the good things, by the way.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you very much. And Mr. Tiamori, would you like to make a sentence and share with us, or you're
Maybe.
preoccupied with your preparation?
Yes, exactly. I
Okay.
might try
I'll
it in.
I'll
Okay,
give another try.
Sure.
He showed a propensity for propensity. He showed a propensity for love,
Okay.
or he showed a propensity to anger or
Great,
violence.
great. That's a great word. Let's try and use it during the discussions if possible.
Yeah, do you want to give a try to Shahid Iqbal? He's a guest now.
Oh, really? That's nice. If he's listening in.
I'm listening. Hello. Good
Hi,
evening to
Shahid.
everyone.
How are
But I
you
didn't
doing?
understand what is the meaning of propensity.
Okay.
I
So
joined late one.
All right. If you go back and very quickly, if I run through the slides, it's a natural inclination to something, natural tendency to behave in a particular way. Next slide, please. All right. So the synonyms are inclination, as I mentioned, predisposition to some, leaning to something, you see, proneness to something, and antonyms, is disinclination, inadequacy, incompetence to something, you see. So next slide, please. Yeah, okay, you're ready? Great. You can.
Yes.
These are some of the examples here. Like the last one says, she has a propensity to take painkillers at the slightest sign of a headache.
Oh. I think he had, similarly, he has a propensity to stay in a natural environment.
Great. That's a healthy sign. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, good to have you on board. And with this, I sign off and pass on the screen back to our TMOD of the day. Screen is yours, my friend. Let's learn something new.
Toastmaster Isa. Thank you so much for bringing this word. We'll continue to use this word during the meeting. So now let's start with our theme of the meeting. So the theme of the meeting for today's meeting is negotiations. As you all know, we sometimes, either required by profession or not, even in our lives also, we continue to negotiate on daily basis. We negotiate many things, and many situations we negotiate. We not only negotiate certain costs, certain prices, but we also negotiate many things in our daily life, like sometimes there are difficult situations in which we need to know what are our alternatives, how should we go about it. So please let me know, and during presentation feel free to ask any questions if you have, because this is a complex topic and I have tried to make it simple for all of us. So first of all, why we negotiate? Do we negotiate, and why it is important to know this skill? Now, we need to know the value of the thing that we are trying to negotiate. We also should know the alternatives, know how much to pay, when to pay, what to pay, and then in return, what to get, when to get, value for money, and then win-win agreement. This is an ideal situation in which we negotiate agreements for organizations. So what we'll do is, since negotiations is a general term, we'll try to focus on negotiating for your organization or for your work, but definitely we'll touch base on other aspects also, other aspects of negotiations in the life. Okay. So first of all, what are we going to learn today? We are going to learn what is meant by negotiation, identifying factors that can determine outcome of the negotiation, plan a strategy for successful negotiations, understanding the principle of win-win negotiations. So, dear fellow Toastmasters, if a agreement is not in a win-win situation for both parties, then it's not an agreement. Agreement means both of the parties, they need to agree on something. Then only we can call it an agreement, and it will be win-win agreement. Okay. So what is negotiations? Okay. A negotiation is negotiation take place when two or more people having different views come together to reach an agreement on an issue, on some something in exchange. So negotiation is about getting the best possible deal in the best possible way, just to simplify it. Okay. Now, when we prepare for negotiations, let's take an example. We have a school, and for a school, we have to buy a few things from the market. Okay. So what do we need to do? We need to prepare some, something in advance before even we go to market and look for different options. Sometimes we go to market to buy our furniture. Sometimes we go to market to buy some services, maybe your best deals. So before entering a negotiation, it's important to do your research, preparation. It includes understanding of your own needs. Do we really need to negotiate? Is this something I should spend my time, my energy to negotiate? Will negotiations bring that value of the time, the efforts that you're going to invest? And then listening also. During negotiations, what I have seen is that people, they forget to listen to other party. And then we also need to build connection with the person with whom we are going to negotiate, because it's going to happen with humans. We need to make that trust, make that, make other party comfortable that, okay, we are reaching an agreement. We need to decide on certain price point. So it is really important to build negotiation. And then framing. So whenever you are putting an offer on the table, you need to frame it in a way that it is beneficial for both parties. Okay. You can support it with your data, you can support it with your arguments, but it is really important how you pitch it to other party. And then the compromise. Compromise is really important, because you will have to trade off. You will have to take certain things, and then you will have to compromise on certain things. So it is really important that agreement should not be one-sided. It has to be beneficial for both of the parties. And then finally, we come to a term which is called BANTA, B-A-N-T-A, which is best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So before you enter to negotiations, it is important to know what are your alternatives. Okay, so for example, you wanted to negotiate for your school, you wanted to buy chairs. How many suppliers do you have in the market? Okay, can you really go to a cheaper supplier? Can you find can you source these items from another company? What are different options available? Can you buy maybe wooden chairs instead of plastic chairs? All of that. So we need to know what is our best alternative negotiated agreement. In case your negotiations doesn't work out, you need to have a plan B in simple terms. So please feel free to ask any questions. Are we good? Can we go ahead?
Yes. I have a question on framing. Can I ask you now?
Sure, sure.
Okay. So what I understand is active. So this is the procedure about negotiations. You actively listen to the other person. You build a connection, and then you frame. There must be a specific way to frame things, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what is it?
Great. Thank you. So this question actually came up during one of my training sessions with a senior colleague who was a PhD scholar. And I asked her this question: how do we frame negotiations? How do we frame our point of view? What we want to achieve? Right, Toastmaster Wafa, this is the question, right?
Absolutely. What are the
Okay.
right words to use? Like.
Sure. Yeah. So the most important thing that my colleague shared with me during that training session, she said, we present what we want to present. We say what we want to say. We say what is in our favor. We do not disclose. We do not share during negotiations. We should not disclose. We should not display. We should not share things which might go against, or which might have impact on us. For example, if you are in negotiations and you want to negotiate better price for school chairs, and you inform that person, "Yeah, last year I bought these chairs for $12,000, but this year I need them for $10,000. Definitely it is going to go against. So if you are not comfortable in sharing at what price point you purchased those items last year, no need to share it. No need to add it to your conversation. So framing is really important. Framing includes a thoughtful process of what you want to say in a really calculative manner. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I think so.
I think the right word can be the control of information, like what we need to pass.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So, and then framing it in a way that it is beneficial for both of the organizations, for both of the persons. It is not that, you are the only beneficiary. Definitely framing it in a way that it benefits you, but you have to pretend, or you have to put it in a way that the other party also understands that it is important for them also to reach an agreement. Okay, so this is how we frame negotiations. Any other question over here?
Yeah. Are there any offensive way of framing it?
Any offensive?
Yeah, like this is me thinking that
Yeah.
when we are negotiating, it's a very professional and a posh way of saying it, but the other way of saying it is bargaining. Am I right? Does that become
Definitely.
offensive, or like how I've seen different cultures of bargaining over here?
Definitely. So bargaining is entirely different thing. When I was doing my research on negotiations for this presentation, I came across lots of literature on bargaining. Bargaining is entirely different. Negotiations entirely different. In negotiations, because bargaining, in bargaining process, the aim is to negotiate something better for you, and you cannot compromise. You cannot offer anything. You do not have any alternative. You just bargain the price. And in negotiations, we negotiate a win-win agreement which is suitable for both parties. So this is the main difference, and it differentiates negotiations from bargaining. Bargaining is entirely different field.
Oh, got that. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. So now let's go to the next slide. So the types of negotiations, one is disruptive. Okay. in this situation, one person will lose and other person will win. Okay. Then the second type is integrative negotiation, which is a win-win situation for both of the parties. And then we will also discuss about the benefits of win-win situation. So disruptive negotiations, they will bring, they will not be beneficial for both of the parties. One party will win, other party will lose, and it depends on their market position maybe. And there are many different factors which will define why a party would want to, sign an agreement which is not in favor of them. Maybe they have some small gains, but at the end of the day, only one party will benefit from it. Integrative, it is a win-win agreement. But I can also share with you something, that disruptive agreements can also be tailored to suit both parties. We can also make them suitable for both of the parties. So that is something in detail. We'll go about it. Let's, unless if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. So I wanted to ask one question from the audience. As of now, have you negotiated any agreement, in any situation, have you ever negotiated? And what factors helped or enabled you to succeed? Any examples so that I can understand your art?
I will jump into it. My job is I'm a collection manager. We give settlements to the customers and everything where they are distressed customers. So my job is to negotiate, and we are doing it. So basically, how I would like to take it is as whatever is best in interest of both the parties. Okay, so you have to compromise a little bit with the customer has to compromise a little bit with you, so we have to find a midway to sort the matter out. So I think this is what I perceive.
Great. And what factors helped you to be successful in negotiations?
Actually, the thing is, the factor is that you have to tell the other party that this is beneficial for you. You have to make it a need for him, that okay, whatever we are doing, it will benefit you, and it will be in interest, it will best in interest of you. So once this thing is agreed upon, then obviously then you have to build the trust factor also. Maybe the other person might think that okay, maybe the party or the like bank, since I'm a banker, so the bank, they are only watching their own interests. So you have to just tell him that okay, I'm watching my interest also, but at the same time I'm watching your interest also, so that
Right.
you can also benefit and I can also solve my problems. This is
Great.
the thing.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Usman Mufti. And most of us, we negotiate sometimes our salaries also, our compensations, our bonuses also. Sometimes we negotiate with our managers. And have anyone would want to share any experience? If
Normally, people negotiate when there are different forms of negotiation. For example, if we are going for a job, like that I'm an experienced person. If I'm being hired by some organization, so you will negotiate with them on the package and everything. Okay, whatever you're saying, like on the compensation or some facilities. Okay, again, that negotiation and little bit kind of bargaining will also happen. That okay, if you're giving me this thing, okay, I can something you will sacrifice, something organization will compromise, and then you will come up with some kind of an agreement, and then you will proceed with it.
Yeah, no, that's correct. So now moving on, let's see what involves planning to negotiate. So first of all, we need to establish our objectives. What are our objectives? Why we want to negotiate with the other party? Establish other parties' objectives. Put yourself in their shoes and see what would benefit them, what would attract them to negotiate this agreement and reach your desired objectives or your desired agreement. So establish other parties' objective also very clearly. It is really very important to know what are the needs of other party and put yourself in their shoes. what they would want, so that when you enter the room, when you are on the negotiations table, you should know what are their needs and why are they here to negotiate. First of all, anyone would not be willing to negotiate. Let's take an example of salary. Employer would not negotiate a salary with an employee who is not good at the performance, or maybe if the employee who they don't need, maybe the organization they need him, and how, like, do they have any alternative for you? Do they have any other candidate? So do all your research before entering the room, before entering the negotiations. What are the other parties' objectives? And then frame negotiations as a joint search for a solution. So you frame your negotiations as a solution for them, for you also, but more for them. And then identify areas of agreement. Let's say you have 10 different items to negotiate in an agreement. Okay. First of all, identify the areas which are like low-hanging fruit, which can easily be agreed, which you think are easy for you and for the other party to agree. And then if there are 10 items on which the negotiations are ongoing, you can at least identify 7 or 8 of them. In most of the cases, 7 or 8 points would be easily reachable. And then you can focus on the 3 which are difficult. Out of those 3, maybe one would be where you will have to compromise, but the 2, maybe you can reach midway. So it is really important to identify areas of agreement. Then troubleshoot disagreement. Okay, bargain, seek alternative solution, introduce trade-offs. Trade-offs really important in any negotiations. You should know what are your trade-offs, what you can, if you are accepting something, in that in return you might also ask for something else which was not part of the agreement. So you should know what are the trade-offs. And then agreement and closure, summarize, ensure acceptance. So once you agree, summarize it, ensure acceptance, and close and make a written agreement. Okay, so it is an art of balancing the negotiations. And then how to influence others. Now we are into now we are discussing like how to influence other party to reach your desired agreement. Okay, so there are 3 P's. Person. Many times I have seen in my career people negotiating with a person who is not in authority to negotiate that agreement. And I would assume that many of you have also seen in your career, in your personal life, that negotiations should only happen with the right person. You negotiate a deal, you close it off, and then tomorrow the person comes up and says, no, but my manager did not agree. I sent it to my head of department and he said, I cannot sign off on this deal. So it means all of the efforts that you have put in, all of the discussions, whatever you carried out, all of the alternatives, everything that you shared was, and all of the efforts did not produce any result because you were negotiating with a person who was not in authority to negotiate that agreement. So always negotiate with the right person. Okay, and then the perspective. It is really important, as we discussed earlier also, to have some perspective, have some human connection, and then the whatever the problem is, you try to bring your agreement as a solution. You are proposing a solution. You are trying to reach an agreement to solve something for the other party and for yourself also. And then you are banta, best alternative to negotiated agreement. So these are some of the really important aspects which can influence others. Over here, I will take a pause and I will come back to the audience, the Toastmasters of that have joined the meeting today. I hope you are enjoying the session. We have few other slides also to share, and these are really important slides. We are going into more complex situation. I've got some graphs and other things to share. But as of now, are we good? Any questions, any queries? Feel free and open your cameras if you want to ask any question, please. And Toastmaster Wafa, please let me know when we need to take the break. I think there is a break for table topics also.
Yeah, Toastmaster Amar, how many slides have you got, Tia Moody?
I think we are at slide
If you're
number
halfway
10.
through,
And around 4 or 5 more slides.
okay, so that means we're halfway through. So should we continue with table topics? And then we can go back to your presentation again.
Sure.
isn't it?
Yeah. So can we go back to table topics?
Yes, Toastmaster Amra is the one.
Sorry, I was mute. Are we going to do the speech first or the table topics first?
Unfortunately, we don't have the speaker today.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
All right.
we're having
Okay.
presentation, table topics, and getting back to presentation again.
Okay. All right. So who's going to be the first table topic? Who's going to volunteer for the first table topic?
Yeah, do you want to explain the rules?
Yes. So the rules are that this is an impromptu session where the members are going to speak on a given topic for 2 minutes. The minimum time is 1 minute. The maximum is 2 minutes, and then you have 30 seconds to wrap it up. This is going to be an interesting session. So who is going to volunteer? Either you volunteer or I am going to pick one. Usman Mufti. Toastmaster Usman Mufti, you are the champion of impromptu speaking. Can't get Usman Mufti. Anybody else?
I can try, no problem.
Okay, all right, that's great. Okay, so the topic for you is what are can you tell us some recent compliments that you have received?
Okay. So it can be only one or multiple?
Your choice.
Okay.
Some
Okay,
of the recent compliments, it's in plural.
Okay. I am, okay, let's start. So I want to share one compliment just I received yesterday. I was on a one-day visit to Oman in our Oman office. And we have one of our colleague who is just transferred from our Dubai office to Oman office, just I will say 2 weeks ago. And all of a sudden I reached there, and it was a big surprise for him. And just during our discussion, he basically, that guy knows the Chinese very well. And as you know, I'm working in a Chinese organization, and most of the Chinese speak to each other in Chinese language. And all of a sudden that I just told him that, the overall environment is not so good and nobody knows what will happen after 6 months. Then he told me, no, Shahid, how you are saying this one? You are the champ of your team. No, he asked me, you are the master of your team. I asked, huh? Why you are saying, how you are saying this one? Then he told me, then one day I was like just 3 weeks ago, I was early in office, and one other big boss talked to my big boss, and just they are sitting to each other, and he just asked that somebody is not feeling good in your team, that he was coughing a lot or something like that one. And then your boss asked to that boss, how you can say how our master of optical can be ill, because I need to use him for many projects, something like that one. So then I asked him, no, I think it was your mistake, something like that one. But he confirmed me that from two other ways, two or three incidents, that no, I listened there talking the Chinese, and what your supervisor was giving a response to other guys, it was really awesome. And he was again and again, he was not taking your name, he was asking you as a master of optical technology. So I really feel humbled, and it was a very, you can say, very feel of some happiness for me, because nowadays due to the job issues, many things are going on. So after that, I was feeling it's been at least 1 year job is safe. Thank you.
And that was great, Toastmaster Shahid. So who would be the next one? Toastmaster Usman Mufti, are you there? Toastmaster Isa, would you like to attempt?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, all right. So the topic for you is that what is your biggest phobia?
What is my biggest phobia?
Mm.
My biggest phobia. I guess one thing is very kind of it's common, you know, and that is heights. And it's true. Some really are, you know, they have this phobia on height. I'm trying to remember the term. What do you call the people who are phobic of height? I'm not able to get the term for it. So, but anyway, that's one of my phobias. It has been for a long time. I remember this reminds me of my trip to Cyprus, and I was there on a vacation, in fact, and this vacation was after a very, very long time. And Cyprus is a very beautiful place. It has mountains, it has these blue seas and very clear seas, and then they have the great arrangements of boats that take you to the sea, and then you see these dolphins, you know, dancing by the boat with you, you know, diving and jumping. So that experience was really great for me. And then there was some, like, we had the opportunity to anchor in a place where it was between rocks and bit of kind of cliffs around, you know, rocky mountains kind of. And they were like very strong men in that moment. Okay. And I was with a friend that I got one of the tourists told us to let's climb up the rock and jump into the water. I'm a good swimmer, but I was scared of heights, you know, but I took up the challenge. We went up, and it was like 15 meters up, and I jumped, and I conquered my phobia there. Yeah, so this was an experience that I want to share with you. Thank you.
That was great attempt, Toastmaster Isa. Toastmaster Wafa.
Okay, so who's gonna time me?
Yes, I'll time you.
Okay.
Are you more like your mom or like your dad? And in what way?
I absolutely love this question. And the reason why I love this question is because with time, I've understood this. I'm becoming more like appearance is where I am like my mom, but I have the attributes like my dad. So he has been a proactive person. He was once a Toastmaster, and he has been my guiding light in my life now. I have this conversation with my sister always, that I always keep my mom and vision her, and I see the fears or insecurities, or I say, you know, things that she needed empowerment in, and I'm working on those, because I believe if I work on the areas where she needed empowerment, I would take my kids beyond where I am now. As they say, as John Maxwell has also said, that a leader can take you as far as he has gone. So she brought me this far. And when I empower and conquer what she wasn't able to, I'll take my kids beyond that. So I'm really grateful my father is here today. My mom isn't, but my father is here. And yeah, I'm a bit of both. Thank you, Toastmaster Amra, for asking me such a wonderful question. Over to you.
Thank you very much. It was so interesting to hear you, and I could see that you really enjoyed talking about it, isn't it? So, is Toastmaster Usman Mufti there? Doesn't seem like we can. Would you like to attempt Toastmaster Maruf?
Sure, I can, but I already have lots of slides, so maybe
Yes,
the audience
yes. So
will
I'll
continue to hear
I'll
me.
take that.
Yeah.
So as we are not that many people, so I think I would be the next one to take that to attempt that. Would anybody give me a question, please?
I am thinking of one. I am thinking of one. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Does anybody else want to? If anybody was thinking about it, I didn't go through. Does Master Isa, have you got one? No? Okay. I'll do the honors. All right. So I like to know, just like how you asked the phobic thing to Toastmaster Isa, what are your phobias? Or have you ever been able to conquer them?
My phobias. Actually, my phobia is similar to the phobia of Toastmaster Isa. I am a bit scared of heights. And I'm scared of creepy crawlies, and I am scared of darkness. So these are the three things that that scares me a lot. I'll tell you a funny story about heights. I went to Norway to see my brother, and it was a winter season, so it was very cold. And I was there for only a couple of days. And my sister-in-law, she said to me, "No, you are here, and I have to take to this place." I forgot the name of that place. It was supposed to be a mountain, and she kept on mentioning that place. And I was like, okay, all right. So she planned and she took me over there. So actually, it was at the top of the mountain. So we went there and in the snow, and it was snowing, and she took such a big effort to take me there because that was supposed to be something really nice. And it was nice. And so I went there, and I was just sitting in a quiet place. This is a mountain, and there was actually a train which just takes you to that mountain. And so when we went up there, and I was just found a secure place and sat over there. And she asked me, "Why don't you come close and see how beautiful it is?" So I told her that I'm scared of heights. And then she was feeling so. She said, "Why didn't I ask you before that you're scared of height, that I went into so much trouble to brought you up here?" Just for you to sit up there and unable to enjoy that place. So the next part, that where have I been able to conquer it that much? Kind of. Over to you.
So by the way, the word is acrophobia.
Yeah.
That kept me busy, when I was talking. I was trying to bring the word. Yeah, okay, just to share.
Thank you.
Acrophobia.
Okay, so yeah, so both of you are acrophobic.
Yeah,
All right, so we
acrophobic,
make
yeah.
sure we never take. I mean, you both are capable of reaching heights, though. So
Yeah.
that's a wonderful thing, and yet you are phobic.
I mean, speaking of which, now I'm really looking forward to skydiving, and there's this what do you call the wingsuit
Oh, yes, yes. the
phenomena.
part. Yeah.
I mean, this has really driven me crazy since a couple of months. I turned 50 this year, last year, at the end of last year, and I just want to do something really out of the, something really that scares me. And this is something that I want to conquer now. I want to go for, the wingsuit jump.
Yes.
That's the ultimate kind of
Yes.
hobby that I want to really look kind of conquering. Yeah.
When you come for the zip line thing, I'm sure you're going to go in steps. So when you come for the zip line thing, bring along any one of you, and we'll meet and witness you conquering that. So, and then go ahead with that.
Once what I did was I was managing an event, and I got a lot of free tickets and for Wafi, not Wafi, the Wild Wadi. I mean, I got like 60, 70 because people, somehow those people didn't attend. 20 attended. So I kept those 40 passes with me. And Wild Wadi, they have this dangerous rides, the fall of, what do you call it? The faith, the leap of faith.
The leap of faith.
I was like scared, but I kept on trying and, taking the stairs one step at a time. And it took me a while, but
60 times.
I used those tickets to conquer the fear, and I succeeded to some extent.
It's amazing. Lovely listening to you, and well replied, Dr. Amra. So
can we have the timers report, please?
Yes, you timed me, and I'm going to say the timings of the people I have. Shahid did about 2 minutes and 8. Isa 2 minutes and 34 seconds, but I would say qualified. And I don't know about myself.
You are 1 minute and 58 seconds.
Okay, and Dr. Amra, you were just as our Toastmaster Shahid, 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Over to you.
Okay, so with this, we have concluded the table topic session. So with this, I will hand it over back to our Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amrazi. What a wonderful session you had. Some of the interesting questions I never seen in any Toastmasters meeting. These were really interesting questions. So now let's move on to negotiations. And I want to ask you, have you ever come in a situation where you discovered later that you are not negotiating with the right person? Has this ever happened? Toastmaster Isa, can you share?
Oh, yes. I mean, to be honest, this is a common phenomenon. I mean, this is something that's pervasive in this part of the world. If you are in business development or sales, you get to hear this a lot. For some reason, the decision makers, they take the backseat, and they let some people who are in the front, who are not that capable or don't have that much authority, or they just pass on the information. So yes, there's a lot that I've been through this, and to some extent it affected my business in the past, where I had to take up a decision to move on, to either wrap up my business because and things were also changing towards tendering on internet. You see, pitching, bidding. So this is something that is there.
So true. It happens really it is very common in this region, and not only in this region, in any profession. And then sometimes we find out that the person was not an authority. So if possible, let's try always to make sure, do some research that you are negotiating with the right person. Otherwise, all of the efforts will not produce any results. So now let's move on. Some other interesting things to share with you. And so some of the factors for successful negotiations is the legitimacy of your case. We need to believe that what the agreement that we want or the terms that we want to negotiate are the best. We should have faith in our own agreement. We should trust, and have confidence in presenting it. So I would say 60-70% is the data or all of that you have, but sorry, 30% is the data and all of that you have, market research and all of that, but 60% is your confidence, the way you want to negotiate, the way you want to pursue other person. That counts a lot. So, and then over here, I will share with you a tip. Don't ever hesitate to say what you want to say. Don't ever hesitate. It is your right. When you are negotiating an agreement, you want to negotiate a deal. Don't hesitate to say. Don't think that for example, this mobile is costing like $5,000 and I'm asking for 1,000. No, it's your right. You are the customer. You can say anything. You have to. And even in life situations also, whatever you think is best is the best. Just have confidence and put it across. And then see the reaction, wait for the reaction, So whatever you want to negotiate, be confident in saying that and don't ever hesitate. I have seen, in my career also, in my professional life also, if you don't ask, you don't get. You need to put it across. You need to put it on their face and then just wait for the response. So have confidence, have courtesy to the other party also, and then adopt to the other party's style. Now, sometimes what happens is we negotiate agreements in different cultures. Remotely, we negotiate agreements like I've negotiated agreement France and French. Would you believe it? I don't even know a single word of French, but I used to negotiate agreements in Ghana and Zimbabwe and Djibouti and France and Morocco also. We used to find common grounds, and then on those common grounds I used to negotiate. Even the agreements were written in different language. I used to engage with some other colleagues who can understand, translate those words or terms, legal terms, but we can still negotiate. Try to do your best and adopt other parties' style. And when we negotiate agreements cross-culturally or the people of different cultures, certain values or certain terms, the way you present things, it matters a lot. So try to focus on what is acceptable in their culture and what is not. That research will also help you. So as we discussed earlier also, incentives and trade-off, research the bigger picture, area of influence. Now this is really important. The area of influence and which segment is negotiable, and area of impact, the distribution. Now we will come to this complex situation where I will present you the slide. We have to focus on two aspects here. One is the area of influence, which is for the other party, and the area of impact, which is for you. So you wanted to negotiate for your school, you needed to procure chairs, whiteboard, and pencils. There is one supplier only. And in any business situation, you will find that the person from where you are sourcing all of these, the company, they also procure these materials. They also bring or import these materials from some other country, or maybe not always they are manufacturing those. In some cases, maybe they are, but maybe they are also buying it from the market and then selling it, to you. So in that case, first of all, always try to distribute and see what is area of impact for you and what is the area of influence for other party. Okay. In this case, the area of influence would be where the seller or the party with which you are negotiating has some leverage, or they can kind of I would say reduce the cost. Maybe they are manufacturing that item themselves, so they have got some liberty to provide you some discounts or some discounted rates, or maybe some flexible terms, or maybe something better on which they have control. But some of the items would be out of their control because they are buying it from the market. They don't have influence on those prices or those terms. And then for you, where the impact is coming from, which item? Can I ask you from which item in this chart the impact is coming for you? where would be the most impact?
Of course, yes.
Exactly. So in this case, if you want to save $8,000, you will focus on the segment which has the highest value, right? So if you had to negotiate a deal of $100,000 or 100,000 dirhams, 60,000 is going towards chairs. So you are getting a hit from chairs, right? But maybe if you're trying to save $8,000 and other party says that I'm procuring chairs from market, I will buy them from the market. But whiteboards, we produce them in our own factory. We have got our own factory. Maybe we can reduce cost, So maybe you can negotiate over there because that is the area of influence for other party. But for you, main impact is coming on chairs. So try to negotiate on those items. And then maybe in certain cases, the company would say, okay, but we have some spare pencils. Maybe we can give it to you free of cost if you agree to all of our terms, like the cost of chairs and cost of whiteboard. Maybe we can give you, giveaway pencils like free of cost because we have got them and they are not in use. Maybe, So it matters. It is really important to identify the area of influence and area of impact. Are we clear on that? Any questions, anything that you want to ask?
Yes, we are good to go.
Yeah, so this is where we need to identify where other party can, or in life situations, let's not take example of, these hard negotiations where we negotiate rates, but in life situations also, try always to identify, what is in control of other party, okay, and what is going to hit you most. If there are 10 items to negotiate on the item, try to focus on the item which is giving you more, impact, but then also consider, what is in control of the other party, where they can be flexible. So know their position also. It's really important. That's why I just wanted to share the slide with you. To know the other party's position, it's really important. Otherwise, you will be negotiating on something which is not even in their control, on which they don't have any cost savings or anything. So yeah. So some tips. Now we are reaching end of the presentation. Aim to begin with high, okay, and then, so whenever you offer or ask for something, always keep a buffer. It's really important to keep a buffer in the prices, in the terms, anywhere, because you will ask for a price, okay, and then the other party would say C, so you reach and agree on B, okay. So always try to keep a buffer. Don't say, don't disclose the last price that you can, buy things, or maybe the last terms. Always try to keep a buffer while negotiating terms, while negotiating prices, okay. And then break down complex deals, okay. You can also simplify in words when negotiating, like what would happen if we agree on this, try to explore different options. Suppose we were to do this and it didn't happen. Now let's try, finding a way out. Maybe you can try to buy things from a cheaper supplier or something else. So try to engage with them in a conversation so that they also can disclose what is on their mind. Otherwise, if there is no engaging conversation and you are into hard negotiations, maybe you will not hear what they wanted to say, okay? So dealing with fixed mindset is difficult unless you try to grab other party's mind and try to read, their needs. So engage into conversation, try to use a soft language, always get agreements in writing, and never ever, this is also another tip for you, never ever disclose the price first from your side. If you are negotiating a price agreement, never disclose your price first. Let other party, because it is said, I've read in many books, that whatever the price is put across first, the agreement will close 10 to 20% near that, not more than that. In exceptional cases, maybe it will go beyond, but whichever party discloses price first, the agreement will revolve around that price only, because that becomes a reference point in our mind, for not only for you, but for other party also. So don't, disclose your price. First of all, wait for other party unless you know what they have to say. And then you should have the backup arguments, like what are the alternatives wherever, you can negotiate a better deal. Maybe if someone else is offering you a better deal, or maybe you can get all those services, benefits, or terms from somewhere else. Try to put it across. Don't hesitate. Don't ever hesitate. Sometimes we miss on negotiations because we did not say it actually. So that is important. And then there are some really important tips. Know, first of all, this is kind of a recap. So know why to negotiate. Do you really need to negotiate? Consider time and efforts that you are putting into negotiations. Okay, never disclose price first, as we discussed. Know your banta, the best alternative to negotiate agreement. Negotiate with the right people. Do not delay, because delay in negotiations sometimes will cost you more. Important, keep deal going until the expected time. So if you negotiated an agreement for 2 years, 3 years, just continue to maintain that relationship so that deal continues and doesn't break midterm. Close the deal on a positive note. Record whatever was achieved for your learning, for your staff learning, for your company learning. It should be documented. Apply all these best practices in the next negotiations. So this was the recap. And with this slide, we close our presentation. I hope I have made it simple, and I hope it was, so it brought some sort of learning for all of us. But any questions at the end, please feel free.
So I have a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
When we negotiate, we're talking about pricing, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes we get to see that if there is a negotiation between suppliers and the company that has a request of supply, so there's a lot of pressure on suppliers. For a fact that now it's really not that difficult to source out many options, many suppliers for one particular thing. Now there's a tendency of getting more than 10 suppliers for a particular thing in this day and age, where we can just type and click and we get a lot of a list of different vendors. So the point is, the supplier is always on a weaker side, right? And while negotiating, the companies, they ask for the salami, call it salami pricing. They ask you to cut everything and tell us what is your margins. Come on, and they tell you you're making you're making 30%. So there's a tendency to ask the supplier to give us the breakdown, and so that the companies, they try to know what is your margins and how much profit you're making. So then they want to attack you there and make you reduce. Like you said, you keep a buffer of 10-20%, but then when they get that idea, they try to cut you down. So what's your take on that? When should a supplier step back?
Yeah,
I'm talking from the ethical point of view as well.
Sure. Yeah. A really good question, Toastmaster Isa. So what I have seen is in any negotiations, always try to close the deal. Moving away from the deal is not a solution, because whenever we turn away a customer or a potential customer, it is not good for the business. In my experience, what I have seen. So we should always try to close the deal, and then it depends how the negotiations started and how much you can share. There are a few things that you cannot share, like suppliers. Most of the times they do not share their operating cost or their cost of goods, or their I understand that sometimes the buyers, they will ask for the breakdown, but it is not good to always share. And then the most important thing is to focus on the value that you are bringing. Maybe that delivery time, maybe the quality of goods, maybe the value addition that you have done to your products. So these things are also important. If you don't focus on the value additions or the quality that you are bringing, or maybe you can just also focus and inform them that the company that you are going to close this deal, it is what background it has, with how many other companies you are working, what level of company it is, what sort of reputation it has in the market, and you can build a partnership. Actually, what we do is we try to achieve agreements and build partnership for long term. It is not only one time partnership. And maybe if you have to, from business perspective, if you have to close a deal on price agreements, also try to negotiate some sort of, apart from the prices, maybe additional cost on faster deliveries, because it will be additional cost for you also. And maybe you can, if they delay the payment, you can add penalties to the agreement. That can also happen if they delay, payments. If you're not hurry, if you don't need payment urgently, maybe you can sell them at a higher cost. Okay, pay me after 6 months, for 5 months, 1 month, but you will have to pay something. So focus on, try to focus on the quality that you are bringing, try to focus on the value addition, and also try to negotiate something on side, like the faster delivery prices or something else. This is what I would suggest.
Great, great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. But I see that the discussion and your presentation was more business focused. So I have a question. I mean, we have other people as also other members, Toastmasters, who are not that much into business. What's your take on negotiating in general in life? How should we go about? I mean, let's say dealing with a family member, or your other half, or your brother, your dad, your parents, whoever comes in way. So how do you apply your mantras, in your day-to-day family life?
Yeah. That is really important and really tricky question, but I think we have already covered this in the presentation. So we discussed that we need to know the other party's position, what is important for them. Try to put yourself in their shoes, and not only think from your perspective. Try to make it a win-win agreement. Whenever you negotiate, try to make it a win-win agreement. And if things don't work, it will not work. We need to, be clear about it, that if you're trying to negotiate something which other party does not have influence on, or if you think they are not going to agree, then there is no point in negotiating that agreement. So try to know other party's position, even in personal life also, and think about find the common grounds. If there are 10 things to negotiate, maybe as we mentioned during the presentation, maybe you can agree on 7 of them. And then maybe you can disagree on 2 of them, somehow you can reach midway. And then one would be the item where you cannot negotiate. And most of the life situations, out of, like up to 70% of the items are negotiable. You can negotiate on around 70%, maybe 20% you cannot and reach midway. And then 10% would be where you need to make a compromise. You need to have a compromise.
Great. So the formula is sort of one. And it's applicable, in business or personal life. It's no rocket science kind of,
Oh, exactly.
You don't have
It's
to have
really easy.
some other techniques to
No.
use this. This is a generic kind of a points that you've highlighted here.
Yeah. And in life situations, I would say, as I have just mentioned, don't hesitate to say what you wanted to say. Most of the times things go, not because, or get worst because we don't say what we want to say. And then we have some other expectation. We don't say that. And then, after some time, it turns out that we are not happy, or we are not happy into that situation because we didn't say that. We didn't build those expectations. We didn't, negotiate on those terms.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else? I hope you found this interesting. If you have any questions, Usman Mufti, Toastmaster Wafa, any Toastmaster Amra, any questions, anything that you wanted to ask, or any feedback that you wanted to share?
Actually, the Toastmaster Isa, whatever he said, so I was, it was interesting because, during your life, you are negotiating with everyone, even with your family and with kids, I want this. So then you say, okay, if you do this, if you could bring good marks, then I will give you all your, I will, whatever you want, I will give you. So it's all about negotiations, even with your parents also, even in your organization also. So it's all about negotiations. So it's, I think it's very, relevant topic which you have chosen today. So thank you.
So it all boils down to win-win. That's the best kind of win-win. No win-lose, lose-win. It should be,
Exactly. Exactly.
it should narrow down to win-win. Both parties
Narrow
should.
down, both parties should benefit out of it, and secondly, it should be in best of both interest of both the parties. That is the best, I think, win-win situation. But it depends who's more, certain. Maybe when we see in the bank, we see customer. Normally, we try to accommodate the customers, but sometimes when we see the customer is a bit weak, then we try to dictate our terms. Sometimes customers try to dictate his terms. So it's all about negotiations at the end of the day. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I would like to add one thing here. Basically, as you all mentioned, that it is very important to understand the both feeling, both parties' feelings, and it should be a win-win situation. But as I think Mr. Isa asked, from the personal sharing point of view or the personal relationship and in the family, from family point of view, what I feel in our culture, especially in the we can say that in Pakistani culture or in a Desi culture, we normally don't care about the feelings of others, and we are really lagging in this one, as per my understanding. And that is very important. Whenever we talk to anyone, with the kids, with our elders, with our other friends, we keep in mind about the feelings of other one, and we should not hurt that one. That is a very, very important factor from our culture point of view.
No, that's really great and true. Thank you so much for sharing feedback. Now let's move back to the Madam President, Toastmaster Wafa Khan, if we have any other segment or.
Thank you so much, our Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Maruf. And this was such an amazing topic, and I think we all will agree. एक बड़े professional level पे आपने चीजों को बयान किया. I liked how you presented it and the points that you gave. So, but then you had a very good, interesting discussion before that in the group. So, if you link up all that, nobody would go out of this meeting without any takeaways. So that's a brilliant thing. Aaj ki meeting unique thing, and what I really liked about is we knew that we didn't have any speaker because speaker is the highlight of the day, but at the same time we made sure that we all are present and we conduct the meeting, and then we are able to take turns, doing table topics and playing different roles, and the proactiveness of our members. Like, I really like how Toastmaster Isa Lagari brought up the word of the day, despite knowing the fact there was one. He thought, you know what, let me get mine ready. And it was such a nice word, which wasn't used apart from the round robin. Lekin ek attempt hui thi. So definitely that was a good attempt. And I'm really pleased that Usman Mufti joined in and, Shahid Iqbal joined in as well. Now, making an interactive end of the meeting thing, I'm going to take you all, giving you about 30 seconds to share how did you find today's meeting, or kya khayalat hain? Just give you a feel about it, or definitely let's add something about the Toastmaster of the day. What topic kis tarah leke aaye the? Shall I start with Toastmaster Isa? Go on.
Yeah. Negotiation is one of my favorite subjects. I always thought, and I always think that there's always room for improvement. And as you saw me maneuvering in my questions and trying to emphasize that it's not only about business. Negotiation is not just about business. Negotiation is about life's every aspect, as Usman Mufti, TM of Usman Mufti was mentioning, that everything we do in life, there is some kind of negotiation in it. Because after all, human beings have the tendency, what was the word? Propensity to, negotiate for their own benefit. We have that urge, to get get something for us. What's in it for us? You know, what's in it for me? So that's where negotiation helps. And it sometimes there's a biasness in it, okay? But when you learn about negotiation and its ways of how to frame it, you see, as our TMOD, they brought in the topic of framing, and you rightly asked him as well to give clarification on that. It was really, it's really important to frame and prepare. It's an art, you know, it's an art and a science. So I really love the topic, and I appreciate TMOD Maruf preparing and sharing this information with us, because it was really important and it's really useful. I thank him. I applaud him. Thank you.
Zabardast. I like how you've been very grateful, and so am I. Lovely. Shahid Iqbal, would you like to share how did you find today's meeting? Or आपका takeaway क्या?
I think overall, I will especially like to mention that whenever I join the Toastmaster meeting, I always have some new learning and some good takeaways. And from the to the topic point of view, of course, there are 2 or 3 things which are very good from the learning point of view. One, like frankly speaking, I know very well about the negotiation because it is also part of my job. But the new thing which I added from today's topic is normally in my personal definition, the negotiation is always that how much benefit I can get, or I need to take the one thing is this one. But second, from the professional point of view, like it is always when you need to deal with someone, it should be a win-win situation. But the third point, which is clarified, is like from the definition point of view, also, it is not only from the benefit point of view, also it is the sharing point of view that you need to see about the benefit of the both parties. That is I think a useful takeaway from this meeting. And overall, of course, it was good, and it was a good experience to talk on the also the table talking that section also.
Yes.
Overall, it was good.
Yes, that is always amazing. Toastmaster Osman Mufti, would you like to share? Okay, so I'll go.
Definitely,
yes.
definitely. I would like to share. I think it was very apt subject, and it was very easily described. The main thing was that Toastmaster Maruf, the good thing about his presentation was that it was a layman can also understand how from where he was coming from and how he explained it very well. And the best part was that he has conducted question and answer session. Okay, please ask any questions you have. Not that it was not a single-sided thing. That okay, he was just taking us through the slides, and we were only listening. You know, so he gave us an opportunity to interact with him and ask questions so that he can. You know, it was a press conference. You know, not a press conference, just for a lighter note. But I think I've liked his way of explaining, and it was very, very easy. And I think it was amazingly done. Thank you very much.
I agree with your points. I totally agree. And yes, Dr. Amara, your share before we come
Yes,
to
it was. I'm glad that we had a meeting, and it was an innovative meeting. Pakistan Association Dubai is always Toastmasters Club always surprises me, and Toastmaster Maruf surprises me, and I really learned a lot. But however, I am a slow learner, so I would request if I can have the presentation so that I can go over it again and reiterate myself the learning that I have done here. It was a wonderful meeting, wonderful table topics attempts as well, and bravo, well done.
Thank you. And Toastmaster Maruf has already shared the presentation into our group, so you can always have a look. So he's done that already, and if not, I'll forward it to you if that is okay, Toastmaster Maruf. All right, yes, I learned, and I was really grateful that Toastmaster Isa put that question in front. I think negotiating skills should be introduced way early to children, you know, at the right age, you know, when they're 5, when they're 7, and when they are, you know, they are like, I want this and I want that, and you go, you know, in a win-win situation. And we have that as parents, but if we instill those negotiating skills at that point, I think, you know, imagine the good hormones that we both will get. Imagine the how over 20 years that child will be so polished and professional in their negotiation. I am so grateful to Toastmaster Maru for introducing a wonderful topic. Yes, you need to show us those skills. I'm a visual learner. I want to see you negotiate. So maybe your speech could be, you know, have someone who's negotiating with you and a tough negotiator, and your skills are so convincing. I'd like you to show that to us. And thank you everyone for today's meeting. You all are wonderful Toastmasters. Just one little reminder, XCOM meeting is going to be by the end of this week. So Dr. Amra suggested Friday evening. If you're happy with that, please put in the group. If not, we'll go for Saturday. But we need to do an XCOM meeting because we're nearing the end of the tenure and things need to move on. I do have important things to discuss with you all before we move ahead. So are you happy with Friday evening?
Yeah, it's okay for me. Saturday afternoon, I have a conference to attend. So maybe if Saturday, then early. But otherwise, Friday evening will be good.
Friday evening. When I talk about,
Unfortunately, Friday, I have some engagement after the Friday prayers till 7, 8 o'clock.
okay,
I will be out. I'll be out.
you'll be out.
I won't be.
If it would be in the evening, something like between 8 to 9 or 8:30 to 9, 8:30 to 9:30.
Would you be able to make it, Toastmaster Isa, 8:30 to 9?
If I'm around, I will just.
Yeah, I don't
Probably
want you to miss the
sign in.
XCOM meeting because I really need everyone to be there. It's very, very important because it has got to do with all of us. Otherwise, we'll have to move on to Saturday mornings, 10:30. Looks like 4 people have voted for Saturday morning in the poll in the group. So if that is the case, we'll have to go for that. Are you okay with that, Toastmaster Isa, Dr. Amra?
Saturday morning is fine.
It's fine. So Dr. Amra, are you okay with that?
Yeah, Saturday morning is fine so far.
Yes. I know it's going to be a little difficult for some of us, but I'm going to call each and every members, those who were not here. I'll be calling them and I'll see if they can come. And I'm going to include Toastmaster Imran into it as well, as much as I can. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We didn't do a poll for the best speaker, but you know what? We are all great speakers. It's a win-win situation today.
It is. We all are winners.
We all are winners.
Thank you.
As a president of this club, the power that has been vested into me, I adjourn today's meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.